Hello and welcome to GTMF's Backstage Pass, your weekly invitation to gather, to be in the company of friends, to learn and to connect with our GTMF musical community. This is show number 3. My name is Eva Capoletti Chow and I'm a violinist, and I've been coming to the Grand Teton Music Festival for almost 20 years.
And my name is Jerry Ho. I'm the associate conductor for the GTMF. And I've been at the festival for 4 years. And so we're excited to have you join us today.
And with us is Mike Richards. He is our guru of all things tech, and he's keeping this show running smoothly. So thank you, Mike, for being here.
More or less smoothly. Thank you so much, Eva and Jerry. You guys take it away.
And so without much further ado, we have 5 wonderful guests. So this is show number 3, and so we've upped it to 5 guests. We have Gail, Barbara, Steve, JáTtik, and Juan. And please say hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hi there.
Maybe you guys want to do a little introduction of each of yourselves. Maybe tell us where you are, how long you've been here at GTMF, what you play. Juan, do you want to start us off?
I am the contrabassist with the Atlanta Symphony, and I'm currently in Atlanta. This would have been my 20th year with the festival. 2 of my esteemed colleagues who are joining us today are, I guess, my Teton family, although I think of them as my family. And we've pretty much been roommates almost every summer that we've been at the festival together, which has almost been about the same length for all of us. So, thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much for being here, Juan. Steve?
My name's Steve Norrell. I recently retired from the Metropolitan Opera after 37 years. And it would have been my 17th summer at the Grand Tetons Music Festival, which is a very special place for me. And I'm thrilled to be with you all today.
Thank you so much for joining us, Steve. JáTtik, the 3 of you are the special trio. You guys are always going at the hip throughout the festival, on stage, off stage, and so please, could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, JáTtik?
Well, I think I termed it the terrible trio, but we'll accept that as well. But greetings to everyone out there. JáTtik Clark, principal tubist with the Oregon Symphony, coming to you from sunny Portland, Oregon for a change. We're finally in the summer season and the sun is actually out. So we're enjoying that. This would have been, along with Juan, my 20th summer with the Grand Teton Music Festival. And of course, even though we're still in June, I'm already missing it. But it's been nice to be able to have these Zoom get-togethers, and just want to welcome everybody, and it's great to see everyone here.
Great to have you here, JáTtik. And of course, we have Barbara Butler. Barbara, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm in my house in Lincolnshire, Illinois, outside of Chicago, and I've been here since mid-March when I left Rice University down in Houston. And I'm sure that I've been here longer than any of you because Ling invited me and Charlie Geyer invited us out to teach at the Grand Teton Orchestral Seminar in 1983. And then 2 years later, he invited us to play in the festival orchestra. So I've been playing in the festival orchestra since 1985. So this would be my 35th year. It is as much a part of my life as anything. It's been longer than I've been a mother. It's been longer than many, many things that I do. And some of the great players that we helped bring out. And in addition to all the new friends we made out there. So it's a pretty special place to me.
Wonderful. Well, we're so happy that you're here with us, Barbara.
Thank you.
Gail, please.
Hi, everybody. This is Gail Williams. I'm in my home in my attic with my 2 shepherds. I hope they don't start talking to me. In Evanston, Illinois. And I've been coming out, I think this is my 27th to 28th year. And I am just devastated because I survived my life here in the Chicago area, teaching at Northwestern for the 7 weeks that I get to go out to the mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're glad you're here with us today. I know that all of us are feeling deeply the loss of the cancellation this summer, but we're happy to have music from the mountains for at least in August. Just for today, you know, I know that all of you hang out at the Spur after concerts anyway, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to gather the five of you, because you're good friends, and I didn't know how often you had seen each other since at least last summer. And so I just wanted to have an opportunity to have you chat with each other, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you've been up to since we have all been quarantined since mid-March. Barbara, you were saying that you've been there in Chicago since then, so you left Houston. So
yes, I came back to Chicago for concerts with the group that I play with here in town, and then they were of course canceled at the last minute, although we did end up doing some Zoom performing where you perform. I did my trumpet part, performed it live and then sent it in, and everybody else did too, and you had a full orchestra and full chorus doing the Vivaldi Gloria, and so that was fun. But mostly here at home I've been practicing actually a lot, and I've been teaching. I'm finished with Rice, but I'm still teaching my current students and my incoming students and even my former students if they need me, because this has been a very hard time for younger players who the juxtaposition of their upcoming auditions being canceled and audiences not wanting to come to concerts, and the orchestras and operas that they look up to the most being canceled right now. This is scaring some people, and so I've been trying to help them stay motivated. So, and I'm also teaching right now, but online teaching with two festivals, soon Music Academy of the West and National Orchestral Institute. And I just want to say that I don't think Zoom teaching, I don't like it. And I don't think it's a good substitute. It is something, and I'm happy to offer anything. It's better than nothing. But for people who think that what we do isn't essential, I just want to remind everybody that there is no substitute for live music. When I come to Tetons, what I'm going to miss the most is that visceral, primal feeling that I get on stage in the middle of a piece. And the thing is, in a hall as good as that one, that visceral, primal feeling is shared with the audience as well. At the end of a piece, when they are applauding and jumping to their feet, that's how I feel inside. And we all do. And so that means that what we do, in my opinion, is irreplaceable. So that means it isn't life or death. I know that, but it does mean that it's essential. And so I think we have to hang in there and stay connected with what we love until it comes back.
That's really beautifully well put. And it resonates as we're all nodding here, just like, preach, please, Barbara, preach.
When this all started, we were in the middle of our last week of winter. We were teaching all day Thursday, and we had a faculty meeting, and I was just shocked, saying, "This is what's going to happen." I went, "What?" Because we hadn't really thought about this, and so it was on a Thursday afternoon. I think it was the 12th of March, and then we went to a concert that night. And we kind of were sitting apart a little bit, and then the next day, everything was gone, done. The kids were told to pack their bags and go home. I was so shocked. And so they had finals, and then they had, we had an extra week of spring break just trying to figure out how we're going to do all these Zoom lessons. And then we had 9 weeks left. Well, I just finished. It's hard enough to teach 5 hours in a row, but you get the energy from your student and they give it to you and you can give it back. But there's nothing coming off this little screen.
Yeah.
And it's a really tough road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, I know all of you do some teaching, right? Steve, you're at MSM. You do still teach at MSM?
Yes, but this last year wasn't as busy for me. I had an accident last November 5th where I broke my left leg. It was non-weight bearing for 12 weeks.
Oh, God.
So I had to give my students to other teachers, and so it's been a slow year for me.
Well, hopefully you're feeling better. You're recovering.
I'm doing much better. I'm still going to PT 3 days a week, that wasn't shut down in this environment. That's considered essential, and I'm making lots of progress. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Good for you.
Glad
Good.
to hear that.
Nice to
Super
hear.
Steve.
Of course. And JáTtik, are you doing any teaching? How's everything up there in Oregon?
Oh yeah, I have. I knew I was going to get a nice laugh out of that, but officially I have 5 university positions. I'll just go through them real quick. University of Portland, Oregon State University, Portland State University, Mountain Hood Community College, and Lewis and Clark College. And
Wow.
2 of those schools are semester schools, so they finished up a little while ago, but the other 3 are, of course, quarter. And like Gail, we just finished up about a week ago with juries. And, you know, I guess at least from a sense, it was nice to have some continuity with everything just sort of shutting down. It was nice to have something that would stay consistent. And the students, for the most part, I think rose to the task. A lot of them made investments along with myself in their recording technology, microphones, interfaces. And in most cases, with the decent internet signal, you can get a good sense of what's happening. Of course, it'll never be a great or complete substitute for the real thing, being live. But at least it was serviceable, and also having students record on their end and send those in. Those were usually for a better quality product to evaluate. The students, for the most part, I think, kept good spirits, and it was good for them to have some continuity with life, even though everything else was kind of changing and shutting down. And I actually picked up a couple of new high school students, so I haven't met them live as of yet, but hopefully one day.
That's wonderful to hear. I know all of the students are very lucky to be studying with each of you. So, Juan, anything you want to add?
I don't tend to teach.
Okay.
It was really funny. Right at the outset, mid-March, I was supposed to go up to Ann Arbor and conduct a contrabass masterclass.
Oh, wow.
And it was one of the first things that I think the professor up there, who's a classmate of mine, Jeff Lyman from Temple University, he had to all of a sudden start, thinking through formats. And they had this one called Blue Jeans, which was good and very clunky also. It was, the sound would tend to break out. So, but that was the first online masterclass I think he had conducted and that I had participated in. And it was interesting. It was, again, it was much clunkier, I think, than probably what a lot of people now are accustomed to, especially those doing a lot of teaching. For teachers, this time really has not necessarily slowed down. It's just kind of diverted. Yeah. And all of the other 4 panelists are prolific teachers. I mean, Barbara and Gail are the preeminent horn and trumpet teachers in the United States and in the world, in a way. So, I mean, if anything, they've had to all of a sudden just figure out these new modes of kind of trying to do what they're doing, but they're still doing it. Whereas our orchestral footprint has totally changed.
But since summer vacation is coming up and teaching is sort of tapering off a little bit, I know that you're going to keep on working with your students because of your commitment to them. But what are some things that you're hoping to fill your time with? Are there movies you've been wanting to watch, cooking, drinks to make? Barbara.
I'm coming out to Tetons.
Yes.
I have a little house on the Idaho side, and I'm not part of week 6 where you're playing. That wasn't one of my weeks, but I am going to come out, and Charlie is too, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're waiting until we're finished with all our teaching with the summer festival so I can feel more on vacation. But that's going to be a real pleasure for us to do that. I have to say, I've been watching a lot of CNN and History Channel, but the most fun thing I do is I watch RuPaul Drag Race. I'm not kidding. Yes, honey. I love it. And may the best woman win. I'm really totally into it. And in fact, I had a masterclass I did last summer Music Academy that I entitled RuPaul's Drag Race, Defeat Your Inner Saboteur, because there are so many weirdly interesting things I've learned from that show.
And gentlemen, how about you? I know, JáTtik, you're teaching a lot. Are you reading? Are you practicing? Or are you sort of taking a break from the instruments, just reading some books or watching movies? Things that you would suggest to everybody in Jackson Hole, that's things that you've been doing that they can also join in on.
I've been doing probably a little bit of most of what you mentioned there. I've still got a few students, like I mentioned, in the summer, mostly high school level. So I'll continue to work with them every week or every other week. I've been trying to get out and get some nice long walks in with the gyms being closed. One of the things I'll miss probably most dearly about not being out there in the summers is getting our annual membership over at the Teton Sports Club. Not to give them necessarily a commercial, but it's a nice establishment, and yeah, so we'll certainly with, I guess, probably eventually gyms will begin to open up again, but I'm sure people might be wary, and understandably so, of getting back in there right away. But trying to get out and get some physical activity between the walks, and just some light workouts at home with the resistance bands and the dumbbells and such. But also I've got a pro brass quintet that we've done 2 or 3 recitals over the last couple years. We've been meeting in the parks about once a week. And
Good.
yeah, that's been really nice. Of course, socially distanced, but it's much easier with just 5 people. And of course, it's always nice to see the many faces that pop up and check us out, and people often show their, verbally give their appreciation for what we're doing. And I think maybe this desertion of most live large performances, hopefully it makes people realize, what could be missing if we do go away. So
yeah, absolutely.
A little bit of a gut check there.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about was sort of, since we can't be there all together this summer, just some of your favorite musical memories.
A lot of the musical performances I've taken part of in the festival have been incredible, but there is something about Mahler with Donald Runnicles in that setting that is almost transformative. I mean, you and everybody, I can see even shaking her head. It is, you come away from it like, maybe like you actually get it for the first time. And some of these pieces we've played as professional musicians, we bump up against them. But we did Mahler 4 last summer, and it was incredible. I still, even thinking about it now, I get goosebumps.
And I'm grateful to Donald that he understands that we need it to be the highest level, but it also has to remain family. Because if it were just family but not high level, that would be different. And if it were high level, but no one recognized the fact that we are family and we need to be together, that would destroy it too. So I'm really grateful.
Absolutely.
It's not only the family aspect that I'm going to miss this year and the beautiful music, but it's going on a hike with somebody like Juan, who just makes me giggle the whole time, Except that, his biggest problem is he's really actually scared of heights.
Oh.
So when I get to go and stand at a ledge, which I love doing, it freaks them out, and it's so spectacular. Yeah. But to be able to experience not only beautiful music with so many people and different ones every week, it's just you can't explain the relationships you build very quickly with different people, and then you get to know them on a hike, and know about them a little bit more, and it's such a special place.
I mean, JáTtik and Steve are my family. The fact that I'm not going to see them this summer hurts.
The Three Musketeers.
We are. We've gotten to know each other through some amazing times in our lives, good and bad. And it's, like JáTtik talked about the Teton Sports Club. Shout out to the Teton Sports Club. We love the Teton Sports Club. We spend so many hours, and to go in there every year and see the same people there, and it's like coming home. I mean, they've been incredible to us. They've been so wonderful to the musicians of the festival.
Don't you love how you just meet audience members everywhere you go, on a hike,
Absolutely.
at a store, when you're working out, at a restaurant. People come up to us all the time and they talk about the concert, and then we ask where they sit and how long they've been coming. And I have such good friends that are community members out there. It's pretty special.
I had an experience one morning. We had just played Tchaikovsky 4th on Friday night, and I was out walking, doing my loop in the Aspens. And this couple that you would all remember, and I haven't seen her in the last couple of years, or he, they would sit in the second row, always. And in Tchaikovsky 4th, there is a moment that the horns use their stop mutes and play this really loud, low concert F sharp. And she came right up to me when I was walking the dog. She came up, she goes, "I don't know what you guys did last night, but I don't like that sound at all." And I said, "Actually, we did it because it's written in the part," but it was like so fantastic.
Takes thumbs up over here.
That's fantastic.
Do you remember when the firework went off? Who was that was conducting
Yes,
it?
for somebody's birthday party.
Yeah. At the Four Seasons or something.
Shostakovich.
Yeah, right. That's right. Shostakovich won, right?
No, I think it was like
5.
I think it was 13. I want to say 11 or 13. It was. We didn't do the great big bassoon solo in the beginning of the last movement because it's quiet. So we just started. Got loud.
I was gonna ask Steve. I remember one of the first things, my first year there. I remember you telling me that you had played, I think, the Valkyries like 100 times, at least 100 times during your time at the Met. I think we were doing Beethoven 9, and you had only done that like twice, and you were really worked up about it, just having a chance to play Beethoven 9. And it was just your perspective being an opera orchestra. I know that the Met Orchestra plays symphonic concerts, but also there's a chance to play a lot of symphonic music at the Tetons that you sometimes don't get a chance.
That has been a real thrill for me. Playing at the Met, we would do 3 Carnegie series, and oftentimes with James Levine, they would repeat the same program, several works we played a few times. But getting to play things at the Tetons was really a joy. Playing the Beethoven was wonderful. It was great.
Yeah, I thought it was another piece just to hear in that space was absolutely magical.
Like when you play Alpine Symphony at Strauss, and then you go out for a hike the next day and everybody is singing the Alpine Symphony all day.
Right.
Absolutely. No, I remember after the Mahler won, I did my first hike up to Lake Solitude, and then turning back from there and seeing the canyon, I was thinking this is what Mahler must have been looking at when he wrote his music. And so just hearing Mahler, not only done so well, played so amazingly, but also to be in the setting to think this is probably what inspired Mahler.
What kept coming to me is this idea that has been on my mind through this, I keep calling this the grand pause. It's like this, the whole orchestra stops, right? And we're all in anticipation of what's going to come next. And so in this time of a grand pause, one of the things that has occurred to me is inspiring the inspirers. So our jobs are to be inspirers. And everything that you were talking about the Tetons, is what is so inspiring. It's like, it's the mountains, it's the space that's held for us as musicians, it's the friendships, it's the chamber music, it's the going to see other people, it's the somebody plays a solo in the winds and I'm just like floored again and so grateful. It's all of it. It's like, it's a place where we get to inspire ourselves and reboot and come back as to inspire others in our home orchestras or to our students or any of those things. So as every person was talking about the various things they love, everything from getting to work out in the Aspens to taking those hikes, that's what's coming to me is about, that's what's so, like there's an overall way to say it. That's what it feels.
The recharge, to get recharged out there so you can survive the rest of the year. That's what's going to be the hardest, I think.
Like we do this because we're inspired by it. And sometimes it gets hard to remember that because we're on the treadmill for the year. And there's something about coming out there that gives us enough space to inspire, to be inspired again. And then we can go out and do it again.
I like what you said. I mean, I always say, who's teaching the teachers? How are the teachers continuing to get better? How are we continuing to improve and to learn more so we get better as musicians and as teachers? But I like what you said even more. Who's inspiring the inspirers? I love that.
Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us. Gail, Barbara, Steve, JáTtik, Juan, Eva.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank all of our audience for being here with us and spending time and watching us have a wonderful time connecting and talking about how much we're going to miss being at the Grand Teton Music Festival this summer. And of course, we are already anticipating 2021. But before then, of course, we have music from the mountains that we're looking forward to and watching at least from the comforts of our home online and cheering all our friends on there. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you at the Spur.
All right.
See you all soon.